Let's be for real here. Sometimes it's hard to find photos for your journals because it can seem boring or complicated. So here is my complete guide to anything photo related with journals. Step 1 is finding basic photos online. I use my mom's MacBook Air for this, or Pro, I'm not sure, but because it has all the applications I need. I can't find another option for Chrome, but if you have any, leave them in the comments down below that work for you. To start, I'm going to open up Pages, which is a built-in application on most Mac devices. I noticed that there are tons of templates available, but make sure to click on the blank template. Once you click the Create button, you will be led to this wonderful workspace that is 100% customizable with tons of awesome tools. If you just want filler photos for your journal, you could of course just search up anything on Google that's aesthetic, or even the most basic things such as plants. But to be honest, the thing that all of these images have the risk of is something called copyright. My source for finding filler images that are still high quality is unsplash.com, and no, this is not sponsored. Basically on Unsplash, you get access to thousands of very high quality photos made by very talented photographers that post them for free with no copyright. If you find a photo that you're interested in after scrolling through many, just simply click on it and then click on the download free button, and it will show up in your downloads bar, and you don't even need an account, and you can also thank the photographers. Unsplash also allows you to sort the relevance of what pops up in your searches by size, shapes, and even colors and more. This can come in useful if you want a certain theme or look for your spreads. Now, what if you want certain photos for a certain spread? For example, I do a lot of K-pop journaling, and in fact that was my gateway into the journaling world. So for K-pop journaling, you kind of need specific photos, or at least specific photos of a group, place, person, or thing. Now the easiest way to go through this is just to hop onto Google and search up the thing you want to find photos for. However, this is where copyright gets a bit weird here due to certain licenses. You can spend hours searching through copyright laws in your specific area, and also different stuff such as the Creative Commons license, which allows people to use works in certain ways for creative purposes. But to sum up copyright laws, basically as long as you don't claim the work as your own or use it for any advertising or revenue gain, but it's different for YouTubers, you should be fine. However, this does not apply to things like fan art or art commissions, because these are works made for certain people or things that they paid for, and just because they're available to the public doesn't mean they can be used freely by the public necessarily. However, all artists have different rules. Always ask for permission from the artist before taking or even considering using their work. And moving on. You can insert your images into Pages by either downloading them and re-uploading them into the app for higher quality, or just simply copying and pasting them. Now this is where the real fun begins, and start by clicking on the Documents tool. From there you'll see printer and paper size, and this is where you can select the paper size for when your images print out. You can find many different selections, and really quickly on the basis of paper, use whichever paper you'd like. Personally, I use just regular printer paper because it's cheaper and more available, but if you like the results of photo paper, go with that. You can honestly just finish up some margin sizes, though I don't really deal with that. But once that's all done, click on the Format tool, and this is where it gets really fun because you can customize basically anything. Use the Resizing tool. Yes, this tool is so useful on Pages because you can actually see the dimensions of the photo of what it would look like if you printed it out. This is super easy because you can basically just resize whatever photo you like to the perfect width and plan out your photos in spreads a lot easier. Now, I know it might seem like a bit of work to have to measure out the dimensions of your page, but think about it. It can save lots of paper and lots of cutting with scissors. I guess you don't have to do this for every single time you print out photos, but it's nice if you want to have a really well coordinated spread. And also with Pages there are tons of other tools, such as the Instant Alpha tool, which allows you to erase certain colors, but obviously I'm not that very good at it. And you can even play around with exposure and saturation, just some minor quick changes to your photos. You can also add a reflection or a special border. And if you really want to, you can adjust the opacity, which I guess wouldn't do much on a regular image. If you select the Arrange button, you get access to changing all the different angles and flipping your images as well. But one more really special tool that I like using is to use Google Drawings for fun shape crops. Now, if you're watching this video signed in on a YouTube account, you definitely have access to Google Drive and its features. Just go to Drive, click on New, and then More, and then bam, Google Drawings. And this will take you to a lovely blank workspace. Paste your image into the blank workspace and then go up to the little toolbar at the top of your screen and click on where the crop shape is. Now, don't click on the button itself, and instead click on the drop down. You'll see tons of little categories with lots of different shapes, including a division sign if you truly want your image in the shape of a division sign. I definitely use Google Drawings to crop it into a round circle the most, because it's kind of hard to find a circle cropper anyways. But once you got your little image, make sure to title it so that way it won't get lost in the sea of untitled drawings. And then click download, and download as a PNG, where you can directly drop it onto pages by clicking through the windows. Now I have to talk about printing. Some people, like me, have a printer at their house, and other people go to printing shops or package shops that have printers available for public use, though I know that's not an option for everyone. If you don't have access to stuff like that, think about investing in a pocket printer like the Polaroid Mint, which is what I have. Pocket printers are basically little printers that connect to phones. Some even have built-in cameras, but these are little printers that rely on zinc paper, which is a kind of paper that can be quite expensive. Remember that these printers come at all price points, so find one that's high quality and works for you. Really quickly, let's talk about other places to find photos. One really good one is to find high quality photos in magazines or subscription magazines. In magazines, you don't really have a choice in what photos you find, but most of the time they're very high quality and are quite aesthetic. Plus, it allows for a lot of creativity because you only have a few materials to work with. Some magazines that I recommend are the Magnolia Farms magazines and Sunset magazines, because a lot of them are travel magazines or basic lifestyle magazines that have plenty of nature shots and are very, very pretty. And I'm also going to talk about tools to cut photos with, and if you're not interested in here, then just skip ahead to the shown timestamp. I use this really useful FISKARS little paper cutter thing. I'll link it down in the description, but basically it's a little paper cutter that cuts straight lines and even fits into binders. My hands are very shaky, so using this to cut precise and quick lines is super useful, especially when I have tons of photos to cut, because that takes a really long time. Now, if we're talking about scissors, you don't really need the most high quality or expensive scissors. I use these classic FISKARS orange scissors, and I even use a little tiny pair of cheap IKEA scissors that are better for cutting more tiny little edges. I wouldn't recommend using any kitty scissors because sometimes those can just crinkle the paper, which is very annoying. Now for adhesives, I basically use whatever's cheap and available for me, such as school glue sticks. These stick perfectly fine for me, my images never peel up, and honestly, they never do me dirty. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay. But anyways, just paste your image into your journal, and then basically, that's it. Congratulations, viewer of this video. You have officially finished the guide to journaling photos and how to get them. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay safe and healthy, guys. Bye!